Yeah, that's definitely gone sideways. Well, that's really disappointing. I'm not so excited about these buffalo boar anymore. All 12, no issues. Greetings, discreet defenders. Today we have on the table a round I ordinarily would not consider shooting out of a snubbie. Definitely not out of a 13-ounce polymer and aluminum frame snubbie like my little Ruger LCR back there. But this year I've seen more bears in the wild in Minnesota than I have ever seen in my entire life, including one just over a half a mile from my house in town. The bear wasn't in town, but it was on a road that runs between two lakes where I often walk just for exercise. And I need an answer to that. And this bear was not small. Somebody hit a bear out on the highway that was well over 500 pounds the same week that I saw that one cross the road in front of me. And it was easily up. The shoulder of this black bear was well above the hood of my car. I felt like it was up to the roof of my car, but I know that can't be right. But there were two cars coming from the other direction on the causeway at the time, so I had a little bit of scale to compare it with. They were slowing down and stopping to allow the bear to cross, and this thing was as big as some, well, I haven't seen that many grizzlies in the wild either, honestly, but it was as big as bears I've seen out west. It was huge. And knowing that we can have 500 or even 600-pound black bears within a half a mile of my house, I feel like it's time. And since I couldn't get more of the high-tech coated Underwood, they haven't been available since, I think since before the pandemic, I ordered myself a couple of boxes of the buffalo boar, which, you know, they name them different things, but they're basically the same. They're 158 grain hard cast lead, loaded to 1250 feet per second. I assume out of a 6-inch barrel, since I never get close to 1250. But I've gotten close to 1100 with, yeah, actually an average of about 1100 with the Underwood version. I've never ordered the buffalo boar version before, but here it is. The hardcast Keith, well, the hardcast outdoorsman. It's the hardcast Keith in the Underwood, and I suppose I'll take one out just to show you. This is an old box I've had for a couple of years, obviously. I don't shoot or carry these very often. Okay, there's the Underwood. They're nice and red, like the little standard pressure lipstick load, the 150 grain wad cutters I call soup cans. But yeah, today I've done some experiments. I've done some experiments with the Underwoods before, showing the penetration, and I don't like shooting them at all. But today I'm gonna shoot the buffalo boar. Now, neither one of these is a plus P plus, so theoretically, my plus P rated LCR ought to be able to handle them if my hands can handle them. But right now, I'm gonna attempt to capture one of these buffalo boar rounds. And yeah, those are 4x4 fence posts back there. And they're new, well, they're not new, they're seasoned, but they're full weight, they're heavy. And I'm gonna shoot a buffalo boar. Gonna put it through 4 inches of water first. That's just an orange juice jug. And there's a horsefly. See where that herd of cows is. Well, they're not back in there anyway. They're, I think, on the other side of the cabin from me. That's where I last saw them. I really don't want to turn one of these loose into the wilderness. Just because I know these could damage a large animal. And that's kind of the point. I want it to damage a large animal. Ideally, I'd like to see them penetrate the 4x4 post and capture it in that kitty litter jar full of water. But we will see how that goes. All right, I'm gonna try to line this up nice and centered. Put it through the top post here. This bottom one has some knots in it. This one's pretty much knot free. And gonna put it through the orange juice, and then the post, and then on into the kitty litter, and then on into the plywood if it keeps going. Now I'm shooting from a good 8 feet back because, again, I don't want anything to go wrong today. Good gravy. All right, we've captured it. We've captured it clearly in the fence post. So that being not the desired effect, what I'm gonna do is, because man, that's, I hit it pretty high too. What I'm gonna try next is a 2x4. The orange juice jug is obviously worthless now. And I think what I'll do, just for a little tissue example, I'll set up a small gel block in front of the 2x4. All right, here's just a little bit more than an inch of gel, maybe 1.5 inches. Normally something I'd use just as a backer block, just to extend out a gel block test. But this time I'm gonna try to use that as my tissue sample, and the 2x4 is the bone, and then I'm gonna try to capture one more of those buffalo boar rounds. Have to aim a little bit lower this time, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna hit the gel a little high. Punch through the 2x4. It looks like it's gone sideways. Maybe that explains why I captured it in the initial 4x4. I'm not sure. I'm not sure these buffalo boar are getting stabilized properly. Yeah, look at the kind of the sideways kind of impact hole in this thing. That's definitely gone through sideways. It's definitely punched through the water. Oh, and it's worked its way around. It looks like it's backwards. It's definitely punched through. Wow, punched through that water. Yeah, it definitely, it was definitely going sideways. Look at the wood, it's just sucked in with it. Yeah, it was definitely going sideways. Look at that hole. Look at that hole in that water jug. All right, that's definitely been, that's tumbled and gone sideways. Shoot. So for this little 1.9 inch barrel, that's not stabilizing the buffalo boar outdoorsman load like I expected it to. But it's tumbled and gone completely backwards. You see the bulge it's made out of the plywood. You can see the nose of that thing. I'll just zoom in on it a little bit here. Get it glinting in the sun. Well, that sucks. Yeah, that's definitely turned backwards. Wow, so that's what's going on. I'm not, I don't have enough barrel length in the little LCR to properly stabilize the Outdoorsman. Okay, you know what? Let's try an Underwood then. And I'm just going to compromise a bit here and throw up the gel instead of the orange juice jug as my first barrier. And we'll put in an Underwood hard cast Keith. Oh. Okay, yeah. There. That's what that should look like. That's what that hole should look like in the gel. See that? That's what it looks like when it goes through the gel in a straight line versus tumbling sideways. Now I noticed something here. Also, when you go through, I'm not joking, folks, that's a 4x4 fence post. And that Underwood hard cast Keith has just slammed straight through 4 inches of post. And no, I am not joking. 7 inches of kitty litter jar. Through and through. 1.5 inches of gel. 1.25 inches of gel. 4 inches of pine. 7 inches of water. And on into, yeah, there's the back of it. There's the front of it. It's bulged the 3/4 inch plywood. It's caught in the 3/4 inch plywood. That's devastating. It's right there. Good grief. Try to punch it through. That's not easy. I'm damaging it. Okay, got it. I don't have words to describe what I'm looking at. That is violent death right there. Hard cast Keith by Underwood. Okay. There's the gun. Ruger LCR, 1.9 inch barrel. Slightly sticky. Horsefly is biting me. He has no idea the danger he's in. This is Dave for DDR. I am a man rendered speechless right now by the performance of a round I know fairly well. There's the screwdriver damage. That is a very, very violent load. That is a 38 special round that is on a par with something. Realistically, that's on a par with 357 Magnum out of a snub nose. You're not going to get a lot more powder burned than that. And I've tested these, I've chronographed them before. They come in the neighborhood of 400 foot-pounds of energy, 1,100 feet per second out of the LCR, out of the 2-inch barrel. And I'm in a bit of reverent awe right now. The fence post does not lie. The buffalo bore turned itself sideways and stuck halfway through. But the Underwood just drove straight through that 4-inch fence post and kept on going and kept on going till it almost punched out the back of a 3/4-inch plywood board. I mean, how do you score that? That's impossible. That's not something. That's not something you can compete with. And yes, I did test these directly against 147 grain plus P hard cast. Again, Underwood high-tech coated 9mm out of the short barrel, out of the 3 1/16 inch barrel of the GX4 earlier this year, and that actually penetrated further, but with a little bit different shape of nose, obviously, so that it can feed a little bit better. But this produces higher energy. This has more foot-pounds, and with that broader me-plat on the front, I would expect it to do more damage in actual in an actual bear. I'm gonna carry the Keith. That's it. That's the bottom line. I'm carrying the Keith. Plus this gun weighs 6 ounces less. So I'm gonna carry the Keith in this, in 38 special plus P. No need for 357 Magnum, in my opinion. If all you're carrying is a snub nose, this is about the limit of muzzle energy that you can achieve. All right, thanks, folks. This is Dave for DDR. Have a great week and stay away from hostile bears. All 12, no issues.